Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Maya and today I'm going to be ranking every trial in Danganronpa v3 Killing Harmony, with the 6th place being the worst, meanwhile the 1st place being the best. Keep in mind that this ranking is based on my personal opinion, so I might be biased at some point throughout the video. And obviously, content warning, this video contains spoilers to Danganronpa v3 Killing Harmony, as well as mentions of death, suicide, etc. Also, before I start, I just want to warn you that I might be critical towards most of the trials in this video, since, well, I'm not really keen on any of them, maybe except for the one I've put on the 1st place. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video. Number 6, Trial 3, in which the victims were Enji and Tenko, meanwhile the culprit was Korekio. If you've seen my previous videos, you probably already knew which trial will take the last place. There's just something wrong with the double murder cases. Okay, so let's begin with the fact that Enji's murderer was debatable, but after Tenko's death, the culprit was pretty obvious. I was really mad after Enji died since she was my 2nd favorite character in V3, but after Tenko died, this entire chapter was just ruined to me. Not even Kokichi's joke could make it up for me. So yeah, since I already knew who the killer was from the very beginning, this trial felt like it's been taking ages to finish. As for Korekio's motive, do I really need to talk about it? Alright. It was disgusting. I don't care what you say and how much you want to defend Korekio, I can't help his motive made me so uncomfortable to the point where I didn't even want to listen to what he had to say. That was messed up. I hated it so much. The execution was pretty crappy as well. I'm sorry, but I didn't enjoy any seconds of it. Number 5, Trial 6. Okay, I'm gonna make this one quick. The first half of the trial was painfully boring. Literally, there was nothing interesting about it. The only good thing is that they proved me I was right about the Rantaro case, but we'll talk about that later. What else I gotta say is that Tsumugi's cosplay performance was pretty entertaining, but overall, this trial sucked. Not gonna lie, the plot twist really disappointed me. I understand what the game author tried to do here, but it just didn't appeal to me. And like, the execution at the end? Y'all are lucky Shuichi didn't die, cause if he died, oh, we would have a big problem in here. I really don't know what else can I say about this trial except for the fact it disappointed me, and I generally did not enjoy it. Number 4, Trial 1, in which the victim was Rantaro, meanwhile the culprit was Kaede. Yeah, sure. I decided to start with the things I hated, and then I'm gonna talk about the positives. So this trial made me rage. Okay, so I was like so mad over the fact how unrealistic the murder plan was. Literally, there was no way for Kaede to drop that stupid ball through the vent and then use the books as stairs, not to mention the ball hitting Rantaro right in the head in a perfect timing. Gosh, I was so angry how ridiculous that was. I was so glad they've proven me right during the 6th trial, but still. Also, why did Rantaro have to die first? I mean, obviously I'm aware his death was necessary for the game plot, but come on, he was so intriguing, I wanted to get to know him better. Now for the positives. I'll just get straight to the point. I hated Kaede. The plot twist of the main protagonist dying and getting changed? Amazing. I was so happy for Shuichi to become the main protagonist, as he's my favorite character and love at first sight, ever since he fell out of that locker in the prologue. Not to mention how much I liked the execution. It was so good. In conclusion, you could say I both loved and hated this trial. Number 3, Trial 5, in which the victim was Kokichi, meanwhile the culprit was Kaito. I'm not gonna talk about how much I didn't like the exiles in this game, cause that's not the point here. So, the whole thing about this trial was the fact that the identity of the victim was unknown, so it was shrouded in even greater mystery than usual. Even so, I already knew it was Kokichi who died from the moment of the body discovery. I felt like Kokichi as the killer would be just too easy. Besides, I think the whole purpose of this trial was to give Shuichi this kind of character development. Naturally, he did not want to believe his closest friend collaborated with someone like Kokichi and ended up murdering him. But Shuichi grew as a detective and got to the point where he wanted to get to the truth no matter what. I can't help but to appreciate this trial because of that. God, I love Shuichi so much. And the execution was interesting since, well, technically it didn't work because Kaito died before the execution even ended. Number 2, Trial 4, in which the victim was Miu, meanwhile the culprit was Gonta. Alright, you can call me a monster for not crying during this trial, but quite frankly, I didn't give two shits about Gonta. I'm sorry, but I've never liked him and found him low-key annoying at some point. I was more upset over Miu since she was my third favorite character in V3. Okay, so I liked this trial because of how well it was written. Kokichi literally carried, ate, and devoured both the murder plan and the trial. It was foolish for Miu to underestimate Kokichi and try to kill him, which obviously backfired at her, resulting in her death as Kokichi manipulated Gonta into killing her. The motive of the virtual world was obviously far-fetched, but I still liked it nevertheless. What else can I say except for how much I liked Kokichi during this trial? Naturally, what he did was terrible, but come on, it made the entire thing really entertaining. The execution was... I have no idea how to describe it, although for some reason it did make me uncomfortable at some point. Number 1, Trial 2, in which the victim was Ryoma, meanwhile the culprit was Kirumi. This trial was so good. Okay, so the body discovery left me like...
I am shooketh.
It was so sudden and unexpected. I was upset over Ryoma's death at some point because I did like him, but I was too shocked to even mourn over him. Let's talk about how genius Kirumi's murder plan was. Although she was still one of my suspects, because of how she tried to frame Himiko at the beginning of the trial and then quickly came up with an alibi. Nevertheless, her plan was brilliant. The motive, on the other hand, reminded me of the motive from the first chapter in Trigger Happy Havoc. Obviously, I found Kirumi's backstory quite far-fetched, but considering the fact they were all fictional people written by the Killing Game producers, I can let that one slide. Also, taking the motive into the account, Ryoma was a perfect victim for Kirumi, since he didn't have anyone to live for and simply just wanted to die, so... Another part of the trial I really liked was Miu and Kokichi's bickering. I don't think I've ever mentioned that before, but I love whenever Miu and Kokichi call each other's names during the trials. They never fail to make me laugh, as they deliver a huge comedic relief to the trials. Now for the execution. It sent shivers down my spine. That was so nerve-wracking, definitely one of the best executions in the entire series. So that was it, thank you all so much for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, and see you in the next one.